Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Generally Divided. I'm Marco with Danny, and we are here to talk to you guys about our favorite topic. My favorite topic, I think you can tell he likes this topic. It is Marvel.
Marvel.
So today we're going to start off the subject with the new announcements. So we have a few new announcements. Marvel has dropped Wakanda Forever trailer. It is an emotional roller coaster. You want to talk about what you thought about this? Yes,
I think it's important to clarify. So, if you watched last episode where we talked about crowd sizes and we talked about Comic-Con and the crowd sizes there, and we didn't really get into many more details beyond that. So, almost every year, Marvel and the big, huge publication houses use it as a platform to announce their upcoming release schedule, especially with Marvel Studios, who I think this year absolutely dominated the headlines at Comic-Con. Marvel Studios, it's all anyone, at least for me, took away from Comic-Con was anything and everything that's happening with the MCU and Marvel Studios. So congrats to Kevin Feige on just capturing that and really bringing all the fans back into the MCU, because there was a little bit of I don't want to say maybe like oversaturation, so people might have been getting a little tired with everything. Like, when it's fatigue, I guess is a good way to put it. It's a little MCU fatigue. But I think with this Hall H Comic-Con announcements, it really sent a jolt of energy into all the fans, and especially with what you just said, Wakanda Forever teaser trailer being released. And it is very, very, very powerful, very emotional. There's a lot of things to unpack with it in just a 2.5-minute trailer. So we see, we get a sense of what's going on within the movie, where it looks like King T'Challa has passed away and the country of Wakanda is reeling and trying to figure out where to go next. And at the same time, they're being, I guess, invaded or having to deal with the outside world trying to take over their land as well. So, but that storyline will become more clear as we get closer to November 11th. But just the emotional impact of, trying to either replace or somehow honor Chadwick Boseman in this movie, I don't think escaped the filmmakers. I think Ryan Coogler, just based on the music choices they used in this trailer, and just by the way the actors were seeing the trailer, really put that at the forefront of their mind, is to really honor him and make it not just a tribute to him, but make him be a part of it, because his spirit is still a part of the movie, even if he's not physically there. So yeah. That's 2 cents. That's what I had about it. What about you? What do you think about the trailer?
For me, it was just a reminder of how far we've come. I remember seeing the first trailer for Black Panther and being super excited. I know a lot of people were super excited when Black Panther was, first releasing, and now we are here at this point with Black Panther 2. Only thing is, Chadwick Boseman unfortunately won't be taking the lead role of this movie. But he did leave an imprint. For me, that's what I got. He left a major impact on how people are represented in movies, because we see it in a lot of other Marvel movies, a lot of other Marvel pictures, where we'll get a message, in tribute to Chadwick Boseman, which for me is just amazing, because it shows that the film directors, the film crew, the people in the movie are not forgetting about someone who had an important role in setting up such an amazing series of movies, because Marvel is not just one movie, it's a whole cinematic universe with things going on all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, Wakanda Forever was just a reminder of how far we've come with that progress, how far it's changing, because we're seeing new people, we're seeing new characters come up, and we're getting to see development of the characters from Black Panther 1 to now, which is crazy with everything that's going on.
Yeah. I think Well, that's the whole master plan of the MCU, right? It's a universe where all the shows are interconnected. Um, Unlike the DC counterpart, where it seems like most of the movies are siloed and they're one-offs and whatnot. And I can go into further detail about that. Just a brief segue into that real quick. So DC movies, I used to hate that they weren't interconnected like Marvel, that they didn't really have any continuity between each film and that they were all branches off. But the more I think about it, the more I don't mind it so much, because I was looking in the comic book store recently and there's like 25 different variations of Batman currently in print, right? So if that can exist in the printed form, why can't it exist in a movie form? So it got me thinking, you know what? It's okay if the movie The Joker, Todd Phillips' The Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, doesn't connect to any other thing. That's okay because it doesn't have to. It's its own storyline. So I'm kind of on board with that a little bit. But Marvel, MCU, and its continuity and its crossovers is still always going to be the best for me. I always enjoy that because it's more like a pop culture thing where you see one character from one show appear in another. So like, I don't know if you remember Scooby Doo
Yeah.
cartoons when they used to have guest appearances by like Batman would show up and or the Harlem Globetrotters or something like that and make guest appearances
Yeah.
on Scooby Doo cartoons, and that was always like yay yay. So it's that whole crossover universe thing that really gets me, especially with the MCU, and not just with Wakanda Forever or Black Panther. They have all the other shows that they announced, and one of them
Yes.
being Ironheart. And
Ooh, I'm excited for that.
if you don't know who Ironheart is Riri Williams, at least in the comic book. And I only know this briefly because I started reading a little bit of the comic book with her in it. And she is a super genius that developed her own Iron Man suit based on Stark technology. And of course, she's called Ironheart. Now, I bring that up because in Wakanda Forever teaser trailer, we see someone pounding out an iron heart, right? I can't do the little thing, but you see it come out of the metal piece and it's an iron heart, it looks like. So maybe they're teasing that. And of course, she's going to be getting her own show, Ironheart. So I'm really curious with that, especially because in the comic book, Ironheart's AI system is
Tony Stark.
there you go. So I wonder, are they going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back for that? It's kind of interesting. That's kind of exciting if we hear his voice as the AI system for Ironheart. That'd be kind of
Yeah,
fun.
Doolittle. I'm sure 100% he's probably been the background, like doing already little voice recordings.
I'm
And
sure.
like,
Why not? Right? I mean,
so we're
who
just gonna like get a
knows?
little teaser.
Because if you think about it, he was a genius, right? Tony Stark. And I'm sure if he recorded that message at the end of Endgame for his daughter, for the people there, if something were to perish to him. So who's to say that he didn't figure out a way to upload his whole consciousness into AI, kind of like Jarvis and other stuff like that, and Friday? But why not? Why not? It's in the comic books. It's canon there. Why not? I think that's pretty cool. Now, another shows that were introduced, I think, or we saw more trailer for was She-Hulk, which looks pretty cool. It's going to be like a 30-minute, I don't want to call it a comedy series, but it does look like that, a sitcom almost. So it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it has the elements from what I've seen in a lot of the trailers I've watched, especially with She-Hulk. It looks like it's going to be like a light, funny
Yeah.
type of upbeat TV show, which I like.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of light upbeat, we didn't talk about this yet because we were on a little bit of hiatus. So I want to get to it a little bit. And the title is Miss Marvel. Did you watch Miss Marvel?
Yes.
That was a fantastic show. The character Kamala Khan, she gets her powers a little bit different from the comic book series, but it works for this. And at the end, they drop the bomb there that maybe she's a mutant or an inhuman because of the little mutation in her genes as opposed to her family members. But that show was just great, and specifically because it really was eye-opening to a different culture for those of us who aren't of the Muslim faith or know much about Pakistan or even the partition between Pakistan and India. It really educated us a little bit. So it also gave us the Marvel comic book element, but it was educational and entertaining. And I think it was just a fantastic series.
Oh yeah, no, that series was amazing. My sisters actually joined in with me. I was watching episode 1 for season 1, and they saw it and they were like, "Oh, what are you
And they
watching?"
didn't want to watch it with me.
Yeah, no, they got super into it. They got super addicted, and we ended up finishing the series together with it. I think there's still an episode I need to go back and watch that I missed because they were watching it without me. um, but yeah, no, that Miss Marvel did an excellent job introducing a new character to Marvel again, bringing in a new, someone who's going to be alongside Spider-Man, someone's going to be alongside, whoever else is left in the Avengers. And yes, she did get her powers differently. There's the video game counterpart for Miss Marvel where she gets it through a Terrigen crystal. And in the comic books, it also was a Terrigen crystal exposure, which people are speculating that the bracelet she has, that ancient bracelet that they keep talking about, is going to have some form of the Terrigen crystal. And
why not?
Yeah, and it's possible that it's going to break or shatter somehow, and it's going to expose more people to the Inhumans to the table, because she's right now one of the first Inhumans on the TV show side that I've seen. I know they had an Inhumans TV show, but it didn't really do good.
Right.
With its weird choices, but I know they did bring an Inhuman to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, the Black Bolt. Yeah. And his death was just gruesome. That was probably the worst one for me. That was like not worst, but the coolest. Yeah. So
it was the most detailed death I've ever seen in Marvel, because you know how they usually will, if they do a death scene, they'll cut to a different viewpoint, or they'll just black out so you don't see the actual death. This was the first time I ever seen.
Well, the reason they do that is if you don't see a body, you can't say, "Oh, he died," right?
Yeah, that way no, and bring him back. See the full thing. Yeah, no.
So Black Bolt's not coming back.
No, Black
well,
Bolt's,
that variant of him
not coming back. What was it? The Fantastic Four. He's not coming back.
Richard Reed, yeah,
Richard Reed.
Fantastic, yeah.
I was.
Well, that version of him is not coming back, right?
Well, I think that version for each of them, because we're definitely going to see different variants of them come in. I know Loki touched on this a little bit. We're going to see variations of those characters and actors, and we're going to get to see different people really portray them.
Rick and Morty season 6 got announced.
Oh yes, I recently heard about that. I'm excited for that. Those of you know, my ringtone is wubba lubba dub dub.
So just real quick, just to briefly touch on what got released or announced for Phase 5 of Marvel, if you have been hiding under a rock or been disconnected from the internet. So Ant-Man 4 or 3 Quantumania got really announced, more Secret Invasion TV series, Guardians of the Galaxy episode 3, which we knew, Echo, Loki season 2, The Marvels, which is going to be a movie. It's going to star Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, maybe another version of Captain Marvel, of Monica Rambeau's version.
Monica Rambeau, she has her powers from WandaVision.
Exactly. So that's the 3 Marvels coming together, and it's going to be some musical elements to that. Because Brie Larson is a gifted, talented singer, as you saw in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where she performed that song. So she has those chops. So that's exciting. Blade got a release date. Ironheart, which we spoke about. Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which is, Agatha is a spinoff of WandaVision. The Captain America 4, New World Order, which I'm happy to see Sam Wilson get his own film. So Anthony Mackie at the head. That's going to be awesome. Thunderbolts, which is like Marvel's counterpoint or to the Suicide Squad. So they take the villains and they, make them I don't want to call them the heroes, but
they make them the focal point of the movie, as opposed to the bad guy.
Exactly. And the one that I'm most excited about any of all these is Daredevil Born Again. I am a huge Daredevil fan, and It's going to have 18 episodes. It's the only show that they announced how many episodes they're going to have of it long before they probably even recorded them. So it could either be three seasons of 6 episodes each, or just one 18-long episode season. I don't know. They could stretch it out. Who knows how they're going to do that? But that is probably what I'm most excited about, seeing Daredevil, Matt Murdock as Charlie Cox, seeing Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin come back into those roles. And now we know we got a little teaser of Daredevil being in She-Hulk at the end of their trailer. So that's exciting. Daredevil is going to be in the animated Spider-Man freshman year. So he's going to be all over the place, which is awesome for me, because I really I read all the comics of him. I really enjoy it. And his new run that they just released on the comic book series is really fun. So it's exploring more of continuing the story of him and Elektra going and trying to defeat the Hand. So it's really cool. So that's what I'm excited about. What are you most excited about?
Personally, I'm excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy, episode 3. For any of you who know, I am a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. The soundtrack is amazing for each of the movies. The characters are fantastic. They're in-depth, storylines and backgrounds are amazing. So for me, I'm really excited to see the new ones.
We're going to learn more about Rocky Raccoon. Or Rocket Raccoon, not Rocky Raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon, yes.
Yes.
There is a lot of theories going on that we are going to lose our beloved Rocket Raccoon. So I'm extremely hopeful that we keep our Rocket Raccoon, because he is a very funny character, very amazing character.
So James Gunn, the director and writer of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is notorious for killing off characters, right? So he also did Suicide Squad, the newer version. Think about all the villains he killed, not villains, heroes, the Suicide Squad members he killed off in the first 5 minutes of the movie, right? So he just wiped out a whole platoon of them. So he's notorious for killing off characters. I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He killed off Yonder.
Yondu.
Sorry, Yonder.
You said Yonder. I was like,
I know. Wait a minute.
He's over yonder.
He's over there somewhere. So the from what I've heard from people tweeting about what the footage was released in Comic-Con, they did it to a song by the Flaming Lips called "Do You Realize?" So the footage was set to that song, and in that song, some of the lyrics are, "Do you realize that everyone you know one day will die?" So I was like, is he gonna kill off everyone?
Well, we did have a confirmation that Guardians of the Galaxy episode 3 is going to be the last we see of the team as they are.
Yeah.
So the team as they are right now as a whole is going to completely change after this, or slightly change, and we're just not going to see them together. We're going to see them probably do their own thing, their own missions. Because I know in the video game it touches on this, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game. And I know in the comics it touches on this, where Peter Quill does go on his own adventures. Drax, he goes on his own adventures, his own missions. Gamora, Mantis, they go on their own. In the video game, though, Mantis and Gamora are more sisters than anything, but, differences in timelines and stories.
It's like a band that breaks up to pursue solo acts, right? So
yeah.
So maybe
that's possible.
Maybe, I don't see any of the characters other than maybe Star-Lord carrying a whole film by themselves. Maybe if they did like series or what if series or whatnot. I know Groot has his own I Am Groot and short animated series coming out. But yeah, I don't really see any of those characters carrying a film. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it'd be really a short I can see for like Groot, because he doesn't really talk too much. There's not a lot of communication coming from him. So for him to be a main character, we'd have to go and learn.
Yeah. It's like a mini short film, animated films for I Am Groot coming out, I think next week on Disney+.
Yeah, I don't remember what time it comes out, but it does come out soon, which I'm excited for, because that's good for that's something that they're giving not just to the adults, they're giving to the kids too, which I like. They're giving it gets to every audience, because I know a lot of the kids, especially my sisters, love Groot, especially when he was a baby. That was a favorite iteration of Groot.
And that's where I think he is in that stage, the sapling stage. So, yeah.
Yeah. Another thing to look forward to is going to be the next iterations of the video game series with Marvel. They're pulling actually, from what I heard, they're pulling from the movies now. So we're going to get to see a better version, a different version of Iron Man coming out soon. I don't know if they released a date yet for it. But supposedly we're supposed to see a new version of Iron Man teaming up with I think Spider-Man. If I'm mistaken, let me know. But
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, in the movies they were close, right? So, but from what I heard for video games, it not directly tied to the MCU, but the new Wolverine game, they're working hard on that right now, and that looks fantastic. I'm so excited for that. Wolverine is one of my favorite Marvel characters. The other one is Midnight Suns. Now, I'm not sure if we haven't really spoken much about Midnight Suns, but it's a mystical team of like Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider. I think Moon Knight's in there sometimes. Blade,
right? Venom's going to be in there too.
Venom, and
an enemy.
From what I hear, is that the video game is going to be more closely tied to the new comic book run of Midnight Suns. So those two are going to be more meshed together, which is pretty cool. So it's more of a crossover world, because normally we would have the comic book world, the video game world, the movie world, film world, right? And they would usually not cross over to one another, because they based on their medium, they had to, make things a little different. But this time the video game is going to be released, and then the new comic book is going to be based on that, or in that same sort of universe, which is cool. I'm excited for that. I haven't really read many Midnight Suns, so I'm excited for that.
Well, as we've said before, Doctor Strange has really changed the game. So with Marvel, they can literally do whatever they want to do now, because we have a multiverse. I mean, we can, in the next few movies, we can wake up in a universe where nothing that we've seen in 616 has been done. And I know in Secret Wars, we're going to get to see a lot of the superheroes come together and fight for multiverses.
That's the next Avengers film, right? King, and then Secret Wars, right?
King,
I haven't. King Dynasty.
King Dynasty, yes, King Dynasty.
Which King is interesting. Do you know much about King other than from what you saw in Loki?
Yes, I know that he is a time traveler. I know that in the comics, he was one of the ones to fight alongside the Avengers in certain points, and in certain points, he was also just a demolisher of the Avengers. I know in one of the comic books, Kang actually grabs Thanos and just makes his entire life flash before his eyes, and his body physically goes through a lifetime, and he just turns to dust in his hand. So Kang is going to be a powerful opponent.
Mm-hmm. So, I know in the comic book I just read, King goes back in time, or a little bit back in time, implants some code into Vision's neuro whatever, and then he used Vision as a weapon against the Avengers. So it's interesting.
No, Kang is just going to be a very powerful enemy for our team to fight, and I'm really excited to see everyone just come together, because I know we're going to have Namor and his people coming together.
Talk about Namor.
We didn't touch on Namor. He's going to be the next not antagonist. They've always been like at each other's throats. I don't know what they're going to be. They didn't say that they were going to be from Atlantis. They said it was going to be like,
it's a different, not Atlantis. It's a different subterranean aquatic world. I forgot the name of it, but it's like, anyways, Namor, though, his ultimate primary directive, if you want to call it that, has always been protecting his people. That's like his main goal, no matter what. So all his decisions, right or wrong in the eyes of other people, are about protecting his family and his people that he's the king of, I guess, right? So all his decisions are based on that, and that's just the way we have to look at it. And that's even in the comic books. That's what he does. There was a Avengers versus X-Men comic book where Namor was with the X-Men, and he got some of the Phoenix power in him. And his whole goal, no matter what, was to protect the mutants, right? So it's going to be interesting. I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited to see how they're bringing in the Mayan or Aztecian culture into a mainstream movie, because we've never seen that before in the big screen on MCU. So it's really exciting to get a Latino superhero.
Yeah, no, not just that. We're gonna see what Marvel does with the art, what they do with, because Marvel's a cinematic. They're very with the cinematography, with the pictures that you can capture in Marvel movies. They're amazing at that. They do a fantastic job. And we're gonna get to see that really portrayed in this Wakanda Forever, because it's gonna really touch on introducing these new people into this cinematic universe, because we've touched on them before in Avengers Endgame. They did mention that there was an earthquake underwater somewhere off the coast of Wakanda, which was a touch on Namor and his culture and his civilization. So we're going to get to see them really introduce them and probably what that earthquake was all about.
Yeah, should be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of exciting stuff going on at Marvel, and I'm just glad we're here to enjoy the ride and enjoy the visuals and enjoy the storytelling, and it's really exciting. So with that, thank you everyone for stopping by. Let us ramble on into your ears and into your eyes for a bit as we talk about what we enjoy about Marvel. What do you enjoy? Is there a show that you enjoy more than, or announcement that you enjoy more than any of the others? Let us know in the comments. If you had the option to pick any Marvel character from their comic book and make a show out of them, who would you pick? Let us know, and we'll talk about it in a different episode. So thank you all for stopping by, for liking, for sharing, for following, and we'll see you next time.